I am Dr. Kay Fontana, life force coach and grief recovery specialist, and I am deeply familiar with the pain of loss, having experienced many throughout my life. At just 9 years old, I lost my brother to cancer and witnessed my parents' immense grief, which was unbearable. Years later, my mother lost her battle with Alzheimer's, and then my father was diagnosed with cancer and passed away a week after his diagnosis. Most recently, in January 2023, I experienced the devastating loss of my husband and soulmate of 40 years due to multiple health issues. In between were countless other losses, including family members, friends, co-workers, beloved pets, and even finances. However, I turned my pain into my purpose and passion to share strategies to help you get through your darkest days and navigate the complexities of grief. This is the Healing Our Grieving Hearts podcast. Welcome to today's episode, where I'm going to talk about when you have a family member with dementia. Dementia is a general term for a decline in cognitive functions severe enough to interfere with daily life, and it can be caused by various underlying conditions. The most common form of dementia is Alzheimer's disease, which is characterized by plaque in the brain that disrupts communication between neurons. It typically begins with mild memory loss, where an individual is having difficulty retrieving words and frequently misplaces things. It progressively worsens over time, where the individual can no longer communicate or care for themselves. This was true for my mom as well. It began with occasional difficulties remembering simple everyday words. She would attempt to tell me a story and pause to recall a specific word, often resorting to describing it until I understood what she meant. This was very frustrating for her, and while I sensed something was not right, it took a few years before it developed into what doctors ultimately diagnosed as Alzheimer's. Vascular dementia is another type that is caused by reduced blood flow to the brain, often due to strokes or other conditions that damage blood vessels. Symptoms can vary based on areas of the brain affected and may include problems with movement, thinking, behavior, and mood. Lewy body dementia is associated with abnormal protein deposits called Lewy bodies in the brain. It shares symptoms with both Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, including cognitive fluctuations, visual hallucinations, and movement difficulties, but is not related to either one. Frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, involves the degeneration of the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain, which can affect personality, behavior, and language. It often presents early in life compared to other types of dementia. Some individuals have more than one type of dementia, for instance, a combination of Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia. This mixed form can affect the range of severity of symptoms experienced. These causes illustrate the complexity of dementia and highlight the importance of accurate diagnosis, as different types may require different management strategies and treatments. Grief in the context of having a family member with dementia can manifest in several ways, as it involves complicated emotions. Anticipatory grief, of which I discussed in episode 14 of season 1, occurs when family members begin to experience feelings of sadness in expectation of the eventual loss of their loved one's personality or physical presence due to dementia. This type of grief can take root as soon as the diagnosis is made, as families start to struggle with the prognosis of the disease. They may grieve the gradual deterioration of the loved one's memory, personality, and functionality, which evokes a profound sense of sadness. The knowledge that the individual will likely not return to their previous self can lead to anxiety about the journey ahead and the uncertainty of where it may lead. As family members confront these impending losses, they may also feel an overwhelming sense of helplessness. Watching someone they care for struggle with the disease can create a feeling of being trapped, as they want to intervene but often feel powerless to change the progression of dementia. This helplessness can create anxiety about the future, including concerns regarding the best options for care, the loved one's well being, and the emotional toll on the entire family. Recognizing these emotions is critical as family members navigate the emotions of anticipatory grief. As dementia advances, family members frequently experience a deepening sense of loss related to the person they once knew. The loved one may exhibit changes in personality, memory, and behavior, making interactions increasingly challenging. This gradual transformation can lead to feelings of frustration as family members struggle to connect with a relative who seems increasingly distant. Watching my mom deteriorate over the years was incredibly painful. Her struggles with language evolved into what many refer to as word salad, where her words became jumbled, eventually turning into babbling similar to a baby attempting to speak. Along with the incoherence of her speech, her memory issues, angry outbursts, and hallucinations were difficult to manage. The constant sense of loss can create a deep sadness that affects daily life as family members cope with the reality of their loved one's condition. This often triggers intense emotions and a strong desire to go back to happier moments, leaving everyone feeling an empty ache for what's been lost. This is especially true when their loved one loses their sense of identity and can no longer recognize family members. Grieving for the person they once knew can lead to not just emotional pain, but also physical symptoms like tiredness or stress-related issues. This shows just how deeply feelings of loss can impact families as they deal with the challenges that come with dementia. In the face of a loved one's dementia, family members often struggle with feelings of guilt stemming from a belief that they could or should have done more to help. This guilt can be especially difficult when family caregivers witness their loved one's struggles, leading them to question their actions or decisions. They may feel inadequate for not being able to ease the suffering or enhance the quality of life for their loved one, creating questions filled with what ifs that can be very difficult. These feelings can weigh heavy on individuals, contributing to a cycle of stress and self-blame. Regret may also surface as family members reflect on missed moments of connection or opportunities to engage with their loved one before the disease progressed. They may grieve times when they did not initiate meaningful conversations or failed to express their love adequately. This sense of regret can intensify the grieving process as individuals confront not only the loss of their loved one, but also the loss of potential interactions and experiences that now feel irretrievable. Acknowledging these feelings and discussing them with trusted friends, family, or professionals can help alleviate some of the emotional burden and facilitate healing. Changes in family roles and dynamics can create feelings of frustration. Caregiving responsibilities often shift with families, leading to stress and tension among family members. Resentment may arise if some family members perceive that they are carrying more of the burden, while others may feel left out or disengaged. This emotional struggle highlights just how difficult it is to deal with the challenges of dementia, showing how important it is for family members to communicate openly and support each other as they handle their feelings and share caregiving responsibilities. The demands of family caregiving can really limit chances for socialization, which can make feelings of isolation even worse. Family members often feel they have to be there for their loved ones, sacrificing their social lives and personal connections in the process. As they focus on meeting their loved ones' needs, they can end up neglecting their own emotional and social needs, which can create a cycle of loneliness. This isolation may show up in different ways, like pulling away from friendships or losing interest in hobbies or not participating in community events. Over time, the emotional weight of feeling isolated can add to stress and intensify feelings of sadness, making it even tougher to cope. My dad took on the full-time caregiving role for my mom, and that's how he wanted it. He wanted to keep her at home as long as possible. My sister and her family lived close by and were able to check on them frequently. However, I lived across town and was only able to see them on weekends when we took them out for breakfast with friends and grocery shopping afterward. As time went on, outings became less frequent as my mom became more unstable and difficult to handle. It wasn't until she was ready for hospice care after multiple falls that my dad was ready to relieve himself from the caregiving role. And then she passed away 6 weeks later. When families are navigating the grief that comes with having a loved one with dementia, there are several strategies they can adopt to address their feelings and foster a healthier emotional environment. It's important for family members to recognize that grief is a natural response to the changes brought about by dementia. Acknowledging feelings of sadness, anger, guilt, or frustration can help individuals process their emotions more effectively. Families should encourage open discussion about these feelings, allowing each member to express their thoughts and emotions without judgment. Recognizing the sense of isolation is essential for caregivers and family members because it highlights the importance of reaching out for support. Building a network of understanding friends or joining a support group can help create a sense of community and provide validation from others going through similar experiences. Engaging in support groups can provide a safe space for family members to share their experiences and feelings with others who understand the challenges of caregiving and loss. These groups can offer empathy, advice, and coping strategies and help alleviate feelings of isolation. Additionally, professional counseling may be beneficial, providing a supportive outlet to work through complex emotions. You can search online for dementia support groups in your area if you choose. While dementia may change the nature of interactions, families can still create meaningful moments with their loved one. This could involve engaging in activities that the person enjoys or simply spending time together in a relaxed and comfortable environment. Listening to favorite music with a loved one with dementia can be a powerful way to reduce agitation and depression and evoke positive memories of family time together. Cherishing these moments can build connection and create a sense of joy amidst the grief, allowing family members to celebrate the person's life while they are still present. Taking care of a loved one with dementia can be exhausting, both physically and emotionally. Creating a routine can help bring some structure to the day for both the family caregivers and the person with dementia, making things feel a bit more stable during a time when everything feels uncertain. Caregivers should also make sure to take time for themselves by engaging in hobbies, exercising, or spending time with friends. Prioritizing self-care is crucial for managing stress and avoiding burnout. Consider hiring a professional caregiver for a day of respite to care for yourself. Families may find comfort in creating rituals or activities that pay tribute to their loved one's life and the memories that they've made together. This might involve putting together a memory book, telling stories, or taking part in activities that were meaningful to the person. These practices can help create a sense of stability and support family members as they deal with their grief, while also strengthening the connection that they share. By implementing these strategies, families can create a supportive environment that acknowledges their grief while building connections and resilience in the face of a loved one's dementia. The mission of Healing Our Grieving Hearts is to help individuals navigate through loss and find purpose through grief recovery, energy healing, and spiritual support. For more information on how to benefit from grief healing modalities that I offer, go to my website at www.healingourgrievinghearts.com, where you can schedule a complimentary grief breakthrough session. You will also find 2 guided meditations on the media page. To follow me on Facebook, go to facebook.com/k.fontana. Thank you for listening to this episode of Healing Our Grieving Hearts podcast. Remember, you are not alone in your grief, and your experiences and emotions are valid. Join me next Saturday at 10 a.m. Arizona time as we continue to explore the human experience and how to build resilience in the face of grief. Until then, be kind to yourself.